What's up, everybody? Josh of All Trades here. Getting ready to start on the fifth part of our bolt jaw tong build video, that series that seems to go on and on and on, but we are getting really close. So I have already forged out two complete tong blanks that all look pretty good for the most part, and I have the range drawn out for the third one. And now I have my mark set in for me to go ahead and start forging out the shank area. So I'm going to go ahead and fire up the forge, and we'll start working on this until it starts raining. Again, it's been a rainy week. I think we have a very hot match that is hard to hang on to. Let's try that again. There we go. Do it this way. Alright. There you go. And that's our match. Now all I have to do is just some rough finessing to make sure everything's smooth as far as the forge marks go, and we'll cut it off and we'll have our third tong blank. How about that? Alright, since I seem to be doing more straightening at this point, I'm going to lay the anvil down so I can straighten it properly. Alright, so I have the third tong blank forged out. Again, it's rough. We'll clean it all up once we pair it up. I'm pretty sure it'll match the first one, which I am okay with. And yeah, so now I'll just go ahead, and the plan is to cut it off right about there. And then, like I said, I believe the better match will be tong blank number 1, and mainly because they line up just about perfect. So, hey, believe it or not, if you forge something, when you're done, it's hot. So yeah, that's what it'll be. Alright, so let me get the quarter band set up and we'll cut it off. Alright, so I have it in the vise, locked up, and I am ready to cut. So the ones that I made, like I thought, it would be the third and the first, which seemed to be the most identical. So now we're on to reading what the next step is, because I don't know off the top of my head. I think we're going to go ahead and bend these, but we may have to forge these out first. So let me do some research and I'll be back. Nom, nom. Bolt Tongs. Okay, so the next step is to forge out the bit. We want to make it just a little bit thinner this way and get it to about 9/16 is what they said. Let's see. So, because this part of my bolt jaw tongs is probably thicker than in the directions, I'm only going to forge it down a little bit, but I do want to lengthen this to get it closer to 1 inch, and then whenever we split it, it will go the rest of the way. So I'm going to get both of these in the fire, let them both heat up, and we'll get to forging these out, and then we'll be able to split them. Alright, so I just realized that I wasn't recording any of that, but I got both of these forged out a little bit more. Now we're ready to start splitting them with a chisel. Man, that's unfortunate. Alright, back in the fire while I go get the chisel. starting to take shape. Obviously my bit area did not turn out quite as planned, but I think it'll work okay. But this is just my first pair of tongs, it's practice. We'll roll with it. The cool thing about this is that this is my first try just reading the instructions offline and not really doing a whole lot, but the Coleman Forge in Coleman, Alabama is going to be doing a tong making class, and I'm hoping to make a good pair of tongs there with their help. I just wanted to see what I could do by myself, so this one is pretty much done until I punch the holes. So. So I'm using the one that I just made as a template, and I think once I get this one bent up, that'll probably be calling it for tonight. It's starting to get a little dark, don't know how this will do in low light, so yeah, almost done. The next step after we get this done is to punch the holes and rivet them together. Actually, before I punch the holes, I want to go through and smooth up everything. So I'm actually about done with this propane tank. I'm surprised how long it lasts me. Done a lot with it in the last 4 or 5 days, so pretty impressed by the propane usage. Luckily I've got another full propane tank, so tomorrow I may go ahead and fill that one and use the other to finish up the rounding and get the tongs put together, and hopefully finish up this series of videos and have a somewhat usable pair of tongs at the end of it. I'd say that's almost golden. Man, these things are slightly underlaid. There you go. Alright. I'd say those are just about as close as I'm going to get. So I'm going to go ahead and shut down the forge since it's sputtering over here. So not too bad. Definitely a lot harder to... This one turned out better as far as my V-bit went. Whenever I get them together, I'll be able to kind of refine those a little, but I don't think I'm going to get them much better than they are. Obviously they're not great, but again, I'm not really shooting for perfection at this point in time. That one kind of is the one that messed up the worst. This side's almost non-existent, and this side's a little bigger, and it's definitely biased off to one side. So whenever I, these things are still hot, whenever I get them together, I might be able to kind of finagle that to fit a square piece. And yeah, so that's the end of today, but I'm hoping that tomorrow I'll be able to refine them and get them put together and adjusted. So wish me luck, and I'll catch you later. If you're enjoying this, you know, I hate to say this, but please feel free to click subscribe. I'm going to try to put out videos fairly frequently, as much as I can. It'll probably, by fairly frequently, I mean like once, maybe 1 or 2 weeks. That's pretty good for me. This one's different. I'm actually off for a week from work, so I've been able to play around at the forge, with the forge rather, every day. But hopefully going forward, once a bi-weekly video. That's kind of what I'm shooting for. I am finding out that editing these is rather difficult and time consuming, especially because I don't have a computer meant for editing video. But that's okay. I'm learning as I go, and little things I do make it a little quicker. But yeah, I'm hoping to keep improving my video editing skills and video making skills, as well as my blacksmithing skills. So feel free to keep watching, and let me know what you think. Any improvements or suggestions that I can make, please leave them in the comments. And the only thing I ask is please be constructive, because I am learning and I realize that I don't do things the right way. But if I can learn the right way, that's kind of the goal of this channel. So I try to do them as good as I can, but nobody's perfect, and I don't know everything, let alone anything. The funny thing is, the more you learn about the skill, the more you realize what you don't know. So I am proud though. I was able to get these fairly similar, and I think they will make usable bolt tongs. They go like this. There we go. So there we go. All right. Take it easy. I'll catch you guys on the next video.